My name is Eunice Mercado, and I'm the Hispanic Employment Program Manager of NSWCDD Division, and I'm also the Leadership Coordinator for B Department. I'm joined today by my very good friend, Mr. Guillermo Hernandez.
Hi, I'm Guillermo Hernandez. I am the Space Design Analysis Group Lead within the Human System Integration Branch B33, and I'm also part of the B Department Diversity and Inclusion Council.
So today we are going to be showing you how to make two traditional and delicious desserts from our home in Puerto Rico. Starting with a cheese flan, which is actually in the command recipe book, so get that and do it. And secondly, we're also going to be doing quesitos, which is a cream cheese pastry. So let's go. So we're going to start with a cheese flan. So these are the ingredients and the materials that you're going to need for a cheese flan. You're going to need 1 cup of granulated sugar and 3 tablespoons of water, and that's going to be for when we do the syrup at the end. You're going to need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Do not go with vanilla imitation extract. You're going to go 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, 1 can of evaporated milk, 1 pack of cream cheese, and then 4 eggs. And then for materials, you're gonna need a round, about 9-inch, 8-inch pan. I usually get the ones that are like going up like that. And then you're gonna need another larger pan, so this smaller one can go inside for baño de Maria, how we call it in Puerto Rico, but Guillermo just told me that it's called double boiler. So whoever knows baking, you know what I mean. We're gonna put some water, we're gonna put this inside, and that's how it's gonna bake. And then finally, you're gonna need another bowl large enough so that when this is all done and ready tomorrow, we're gonna put it on the top, right? And that's where you're gonna have it. So you need to make sure that it fits perfectly if it's gonna have an edge. So those are the ingredients for a flan. Now Guillermo's going to show you the ingredients for the quesito.
Hello, and for the quesitos, the materials that we're going to use are puff pastry sheets. We have 2 of them in the table here. We also have 1 packet of softened cream cheese. It has to be softened. We also have 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract.
Extract, not imitation.
We have 1/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. We have 1/4 of a cup of water. We have 1/2 of a cup of Caro light corn syrup. We also have powdered sugar, which is 7 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and then guava paste to taste. So right now you can find the guava at any grocery store in the Hispanic section. Cut it into pieces so you can add them to the quesito. That's actually an add-on, yes. If you want it or not. If you want to have
a little flair,
yes.
Get some guava.
Now we are gonna use a sheet pan. Cooking sheet tray. You have a brush. You have a pizza roller, or this technological advanced utensil. You have a roller.
A rolling pin.
And then you also need parchment paper to put the sheets on top of it and then roll them. And that's all we need for the quesito.
Yeah, and that's, I hope you wrote everything down, because now we're ready to start cooking. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do for the flan, we're gonna preheat the oven at 400 degrees. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do, after we turn on the preheat the oven, we're gonna turn our stove to medium high. We're gonna grab the 3 tablespoons of water, and we're gonna put it in the saucepan. And now we're gonna get the 1 cup of sugar.
Granulated sugar.
And I use a wooden spoon because it helps with the sticking of the sugar. And you're gonna mix it up, right, until it becomes like transparent. And really, what you're gonna do now is you're gonna continuously mix and mix. You're gonna watch it, it's gonna start boiling, and then I'm gonna show you in a second how it's gonna look when it's done, because this can burn and it'll taste, what's the word? It'll taste off. So I'm gonna show you exactly when you're gonna stop. So be right back. So it's been about 8 right? About 8 minutes. And this is what is happening. The sugar, you know, it's becoming solid again, but as you can see, it's changing color a little bit. It's okay, we're in the right track. So now it's actually starting to caramelize. Now do not stop mixing, right? Like I said, just don't stop mixing. And I'll show you how it looks at the end. Okay, so as you can see, we're ready. Look at that beautiful color, right? We're gonna turn this off. And look, this is the color that you want. Any little bit darker, and you're gonna get a harsh flavor. But this is yummy caramel. This is what we want. And now what we're gonna do now, you have to make sure that you use some mittens because it's gonna the base is gonna get hot. So let me show you. We're going to pour the caramel into the baking tray that we're going to use for the flan. And we're going to do this quickly because caramel will harden very, very quickly on the contact of a cold baking tray, right? You really want to try to get as much of it out as possible, right? So you do that, and now using mittens because it's hot, you're going to grab the dish and you want to keep turning it so it covers all of the corners and edges of your baking tray. Flip it again so you can see. And you're gonna keep doing this until it just becomes hard, like a caramel shell around your baking tray. And see how beautiful that looks, nice and shiny. And then make sure that the bottom is level, and that your dish is now ready to have all the rest of the ingredients in. Now let me show you what to do with that. We're gonna take all of the rest of the ingredients that we had discussed and we're gonna put them all in a blender, and that means your cream cheese, your vanilla, your eggs, your evaporated milk, and your condensed milk. Everything here, and you're gonna blend it real good. We're gonna pour this in the caramelized tray. Now, don't worry if as you start pouring, you may hear some crackling. That's just the caramel adjusting and breaking to the cold mixture that we're doing. And that's totally normal, nothing to worry about. Once we have this ready, okay, we're gonna transfer it over to the bigger bowl, very carefully. Okay, and now we're gonna get some water. Okay, so now we're gonna put it in the oven.
So the next step is putting it inside the oven. And for how long, Eunice?
So you're gonna start putting in the oven for about 35 minutes. But then you really gotta make sure that it's solid. So you can use a skewer at 35 minutes and see if when you put it in, it's solid or still wet. And if it's still wet,
add extra minutes until it's dry.
Yeah, you can keep adding increments of 10 minutes until it's fully solid. So 35 minutes are up. Let's check if our flan is ready. Let's see. So it looks very watery. Can you guys see that? See how watery that looks? That's not ready yet. So we're gonna keep it in there for a longer time.
And we'll back again.
And we'll be back again to check.
The first thing you're gonna do is to preheat the oven at 375. The first step is to roll the puff pastry sheets. You're gonna go until they're very thin.
They're somewhat thin, not too thin because they'll break otherwise. But we'll show you once we finish spreading these, kind of how much.
You have to go both ways.
Yeah, both ways. Very important to go both ways.
So this is how thin they should look. And now we go into actually cutting them into 6 pieces. So the next step is actually to mix the softened cream cheese with the powdered sugar.
Keep adding until it becomes nice and smooth.
So after the cream cheese and the powdered sugar are mixed, you're gonna add the vanilla extract and mix it again.
Here, you got this.
Okay. Once you're done mixing, this is what's gonna look like, the mix of the cream cheese, the powdered sugar, and the vanilla extract. And now we're gonna pour it on the puff pastry. Now, some of them are gonna have guava, which I'm gonna put on this one here. And then we're gonna add the cream cheese on top of them. Eunice is only gonna be doing cream cheese mix quesitos, while mine are gonna have the guava like I mentioned before. And you can add guava, you can do Nutella if you want. We have done Nutella before and it tastes amazing.
Yeah, you can experiment to your own, pleasure.
Exactly.
You leave enough space on the side because we're gonna be rolling it, and so it needs that connection again.
Yes, because of the guava. We don't want the guava once it melts to actually spill. So that's why I'm making them differently than hers.
Yes.
And like she said before, just experiment in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So something we forgot in the instructions in the beginning with ingredients is that you also need to do egg wash. Egg wash consists of 1 egg and then 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of water. We're gonna mix it. Egg wash is finally mixed, and now we're gonna put it on the surfaces that are gonna be touching to each other. And feel free to do messes.
Yeah.
Cooking, you make messes when you cook, so now you have it like that, and you can either close it out like this, but see, just think of it as a folding diaper.
No, don't think of a diaper when you're doing this, but but yeah, make it. You can make a little shape out of it. Make it your own. Yeah.
Whatever you think it works.
So we'll be right back with all of these ready.
So the next step is to put them all in a baking sheet, and then you're gonna use a fork to pierce the top of the quesitos. This is to add another way of heat to be out and in the insides. So technically it makes it easier to cook.
Put more egg wash on top before we put it in the oven.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Nice and shiny. Get all the spots. Because this is what's gonna make that puff pastry puff up.
Deliciousness.
And be nice and like with the layering, like, oh, so delicious.
Team effort, people.
Team effort.
And after they're done, we're gonna eat them as team as well.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, we don't have anything for you. The next step is to put it in the oven at 375 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. Just check in between the 10 to 12 minutes to make sure that they're properly cooked. And if not, you can add extra time as well. So the next step is to turn the stove to medium. Now we add the Caro corn syrup. We add the granulated sugar, like I mentioned. And next is the water. Okay. And then you mix everything. We're using a wooden spoon, but feel free to use whatever you have available. And now you mix it until it's all clear for a couple minutes. How many minutes, you know?
Until it boils. Once it boils, you remove it from the heat and put it on the side and wait for your pastries to be ready. The quesitos are done. This is how they look like. We actually had to leave it on there for a few more minutes, and that's gonna happen. Each oven is different, so sometimes the recipe calls for 15 minutes and it actually took about 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So I keep adding 3 minutes and 3 minutes, but you see that crisp, nice golden color all around, that's what we want. So I'm gonna put this on the side, right here. Because guess what? Guess what also is ready? The flan. And how do I know it's ready? Like I said before, we're gonna pull it out and we're gonna stick the skewer in. And if it comes out nice and
Dry.
and no liquid, it means it's ready.
So the next step after they're fully cooked is to add the light corn syrup that was mixed with the granulated sugar and the water. And we're gonna put it on the brush.
Show them how syrupy that looks. See that?
Syrupy.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's good.
And then you add it on top of the quesitos. We call it quesitos, which is technically means little cheese. Okay, so that's how you make a quesito. And this is not like how every person makes a quesito. It is a trial and error. Feel free to fail and try again until you finalize the version of the quesito, the pastry, or whatever you're cooking that's good for you.
So the last bit of this video will be when the flan cools down. It actually has to cool down overnight in the refrigerator. So tomorrow, when it's nice and ready, I will be showing you how to flip it. I think that's all for right now. So thank you, Guillermo, so much for helping me cook today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and that you get to make a lot more deliciousness. And if somebody asked, where did you learn that? It was from the Community Cultural Day celebration at Dahlgren. So
Yes.
thank
Have a
you.
good one. Bye.
Bye, guys. Good morning, everybody. So this is the last step. When you take out your flan from the refrigerator, it's nice and set, and if you move it, you'll kind of see how the caramel is going around. Now, the first thing we're gonna do before we flip it, we're gonna take a knife and we're going to separate it from the edges. When you start moving it now, you should kind of see how it slightly shifts. And if you don't, just try doing this again. So you really make sure that it's separated from the baking dish. Otherwise, it can break when we try to flip it. And we don't want it to break. We want it to look beautiful. So the way we're gonna flip it, you're gonna take that oversized plate that I told you before. You're gonna put it right on top, right? You're gonna grab the other one, and then we're gonna flip it. And you're gonna do some tabs on the top, all around it to make sure that it really separates. And when you kind of hear that's all hollow, that's a good indication that it has separated. And all you do is just lift this and look at that beauty. And there you go. That's a cheese flan. Make sure that you grab a spatula and grab as much of the caramel that's still in this pan, and it's all around here because this is the yumminess. So again, thank you for watching this, and I hope everybody makes a whole bunch of flans. Bye.